Wednesday evening is today, the 10th day of December 2025. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining me in this video. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, has detained the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, over alleged terrorism financing. Different newspapers in Nigeria have different topics about what is happening to this man, but the Tribune Online is reporting that Abubakar Malami was detained because of alleged terrorism financing. Now, I reported this about 3 days ago. I published a video of the interview and analyzed it of the kick-away general. I don't say retired general because he was not retired. A major general who was given the assignment of fighting terrorists in Nigeria. So he arrested 5 Boko Haram members. He started collaborating with the international community, and he brought so many people to book. And during this time was the time, if you remember, in September 15, 2021, United Arab Emirates, list of terror financiers flooded the whole internet space in Nigeria. The man that did it was kicked away. They kicked him out. So he did not retire, no retirement benefit, a major general. And he stepped on toe because he said on Arise News that he linked 2 terrorists who are financing terror on Abubakar Malami's office. He linked 2 to the Chief of Army Staff, Brutai. But these issues are going to get interesting, a few days to come. Because a lot of people who are supporting terrorism in Nigeria, you might say allegedly or not allegedly, we have evidence that many people in government are sponsoring insecurity. So a few days to come is going to get interesting because their gang, their cabal who are sponsoring terrorism are going to be resisting all these things. Just a few days to come, you will watch out the movie that is going to play in Nigeria. Now, the most interesting thing is that the same 2021, why terrorists were being linked to this man's office. This man was distracting Nigerians with the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. And this statement was linked to this man. Take a listen.
You know Malami? Malami?
Yeah. Yes.
The Malami that has gone. What do you call him? The justice man.
Yeah.
The Attorney General.
I heard him one day. He said, in Hausa language, he was telling, he said, Zamu berci anan abashi kuba. Kadan zai mutu. He said they will leave him there, they will poison him, and gradually he will die.
So,
but he
was saying it in Hausa language.
Yes, in Hausa language.
Yes,
it looks like somebody has advised them, do not try it. If you try it, the war will never end.
He said, Ndemunseni, Kamamunseni.
He said, if we had known.
Kamamunseni. If we had known,
yes,
we could have done this thing instead of bringing him to Nigeria. And I told you that they could have done it. But
now, the issue here is this. If a major general's investigation that proved that this man was linked to terror financiers, and right now EFCC have arrested him according to Tribune Online, I know that he has been with the EFCC since 2 days. I'm monitoring the situation. I know the reason why I'm referring to Tribune Online, right? So if they reported that it is because of the terrorism financing issue. Now, the question I want everybody to answer is this. If someone who is sponsoring terrorism, or let me put it allegedly because the court has not finally, ruled, but the Major General said he concluded his investigation, right? Okay. So if someone who is sponsoring terrorism told you that they went to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu because Nnamdi Kanu is a terror, actor or a terrorist, can you match, does it go together? Someone who has been linked to terrorism. So the equation here, the formula for the equation here is this. Anybody who is sponsoring terror cannot fight terrorism. And that is why you see that terrorism or terrorists are growing massively in Nigeria. They don't touch them, they don't fight them. So anybody, the answer to the question there is that anybody these people are fighting, know that the person is fighting against terror. I'm trying to break this equation down, but I think you can break it better. That if for example, I am supporting insecurity in Nigeria, anybody fighting in the insecurity is a target. And that is why when Nnamdi Kanu was against, he called them Janjaweed, all these bandits, he called them Janjaweed. When he was doing that, all those things he was doing, people were against him to the extent that when Nnamdi Kanu was brought into the country, Hausa language was used to address Nigerians. I want you to think that the reason why this man is being incarcerated, that is what I believe, is because he is fighting the terror. I know a lot of people ask questions what killed Ken Saro-Wiwa, ask questions why so many people died. Anybody who tend to expose the truth, they will take him out of the way. Then look at after the conviction of Nnamdi Kanu. So many things that transpired in the court made me laugh. Like the judge was saying that he called the bandits Janjaweed. So he was reading it out as a crime. You people should think. And after the conviction, they took him to Sokoto. If you think this terror network is limited to this investigation or the arrest the EFCC have made linking Attorney General of the Federation, you are lying. This terror network is in Aso Rock, it's in the judiciary, it's everywhere. Kundola Wumi told you this, the head of Defense Intelligence Agency. Former, T.Y. Danjuma, those people who have committed error in this country, they told you this. So I don't know whom you are waiting to hear from. This man, my brother, I will not call him brother, he's an elder statesman, Irabo, former chief of defense staff under Buhari. Recently on Chinese television, he said politicians are sponsoring terrorists. So I want you to think, this thing is not going to end in this way. A lot of people have been misguided, a lot of people have made a lot of mistakes, thinking that the government will solve the issue of insecurity. Anytime the government pronounce something about insecurity, I laugh. You know why I'm laughing? That thing is not the solution. Yeah. Anything they are pronouncing is not the solution. The solution is this. Why did you people imported these terrorists to start with? If you can solve this puzzle, that APC government, the coalition of Tinubu and Buhari, they are ACN and CPC to form APC. They imported terrorists into this country. And they admitted, if you can solve that puzzle, then we can start talking. Without that, everything you are talking is rubbish, because the people who sponsor the terrorists are in power. Do you want them to stop it? After all, they don't have any intention to do that. So whatever they are telling you, it is what they call deception. Anyway, for those of you who did not listen to the Major General's interview, I want you to pay attention. And if you have listened to it before, I want you to also pay attention, because I had, even me personally, I had to listen to this video like 5 times before I got the details that I am working on now. So pay attention.
Let me get into terror financing, and then I'll come to the OSW you talked about.
Yeah.
For you, successive administrations have paid lip service to unmasking prominent Nigerians allegedly financing terror and oil theft. Why do you hold this view? Allegedly so. And do you know, one would ask whether you know them. If true, what do you think is responsible for the past administration's attitude, regarding this so-called financiers of terror?
Okay, thank you very much again for this brilliant question. Now, let me, relate to my experience, right, as the commander of the Operation Service Wide, which was an intelligence-driven outfit. Now, like I said, we picked the main leaders and other facilitators, financiers, sponsors, and then we commenced investigation.
By picked, you mean you arrested?
Arrested, captured, arrest. Now we picked them. That is, it was a collaborative effort. Those elements that I mentioned, and investigation was ongoing. And the investigation team was made up of representatives from the Department of State Services, from the Defense Intelligence Agency, from the military police, that's the army aspect of it, from the NFIU, the investigation, and it revealed so much. And like I earlier said, right, certain intelligence was shared. We were collaborating with about 33 countries in Europe, Western Europe, Asia, and other distant were collaborating with us and distant. Now, in the course of the investigation, I mean, we stumble upon names of individuals, prominent individuals. And some of them are still prominent, and including the owner of an airline who was ferrying weapons allegedly for Boko Haram and other reasons. So those information, we took our concern, I mean, made our concern known, I mean, the investigation in terms of interim listening to the powers that be at the time. And some of those people were linked to even cabinet ministers. Some of the people were even arrested. Some of the people who were investigating were linked to them. Were linked to senior military, retired now, of generals and the rest, linked to many prominent distinct. And in the course of our investigation, I mean, we now, let me just add also, we had 3 representatives from the Attorney Generals of the Federation Office, that's Minister of Justice, that were with us to guide us while we were making the case. So that because ultimately the Office of the Attorney General was to prosecute
those you arrest.
Right. Now, but as the thing progressed, I mean, we started noticing some kind of how should I put it? We noticed some kind of hesitation. I mean, things started coming up like, okay, some of these people, I mean, it would be difficult to pin terrorism financing on them, perhaps money laundering. I mean, look, then you started getting some calls that some people, you know, prominent that you should release, so person is not this and that, something. This. As the commander, I made my concern known to the president, late President Muhammad Buhari. I made it, I said, so this, and I recall on one occasion, he stood up, very angry. He said, General, I appointed you as the commander of Operation Service Wide. You report to me and to me alone. That was his exact words to me. General Muhammad Buhari, a great man. I mean, of course, he had his shortcomings. I was very angry when the whole thing happened, and I mean, he didn't even raise a finger to this thing. But I later came to realize, you know, that perhaps he was misled.
You say Tahiru devised a strategy, the late Chief of Army Staff,
yes,
to end terrorism in the north. Fill us in on this strategy. Is it being implemented now?
I don't know whether that strategy is implemented. Before delving into that, let me just say that the military and other security agencies are doing fantastic work. They're doing their best. They have challenges. Perhaps I'll come to that later. I mean, they listen, but they are doing their best, and they have a lot of challenges. Now, the strategy is nothing fantastic to say. I mean, it was just sincerity. Now, we had the OSW, which was on, right? It's set up in 2020.
You actually headed the OSW,
yes.
And the mandate was to dismantle the terrorism financing network
Absolutely.
in order to fight against terrorism and insurgency. Will it be correct to say that you could not achieve that mandate?
No, we achieved.
Or that you failed?
No, we achieved. Because we achieved to an extent. Because we arrested the leadership of the Boko Haram, just like I said, the leader. I don't want to mention his name because I'm not too sure, but I understand, I heard from the grapevine that he was released along with the 5 key guys. And that leader of Boko Haram, just like I said, the United Arab Emirates shared that intelligence with us. I know, with all this. And he was the one who even recruited the 6 individuals. They were jailed, 2 for life, 1 for 30 years, 1 for 20 years, another one for 10 years, and another one for 5 years, the 6 of them. He was the recruiter of this thing. And yet, right, that man I learned, he and the 5 other guys who had this thing were released. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what reason. They were never prosecuted, not to the best of my knowledge. I don't know whether they were this, but they were never prosecuted. So, you see, those were kind of the fear, if I may use that term or word, the fear that one has over what has happened right now in terms of the arrest of those leadership. We hope that the thing we see will come to fruition. Yes.
You had written to the president concerning your arrest, detention, and compulsory retirement over what an investigation task force you headed unearthed. Tell us more about that.
Yeah. Like I was arrested on the 18th of October 2021 and detained for 64 days under terrible condition, stripped of all my dignity. I mean, stripped, you know, a general being, my headgear removed by a soldier, my boots, I was left barefooted, and in a cell. I mean, it was a terrible situation. And then on 21st of December 2021, they came to release me and they handed over my letter of compulsory retirement. And I made effort to get across to the late former president. And let me just add, as bitter as I am, as pained as I am over what Buhari did to me, as I said, I realized that he was naive. He was misled, and for that I forgive him, you know, and I urge anybody who has this thing, if it's on account of me, to forgive him for these things. But anyway, coming back to that, on the I made strenuous effort to have that injustice corrected. It wasn't. Now on June 7th, 2023, that was exactly 10 days before my late mother passed away. She died on the 17th of June. Along the Kanu-Abuja highway, I and my driver, we survived an assassination attempt. We were pursued by 2 vehicles, and at a point I had to call the commander of the troops along that highway, whom was appointed at the time. I was the general officer commanding 1 division, and they came, and that was what we were able to get away. You know, that was the 4th attempt. And on that, when that thing happened, of course, you can imagine my state of mind. I mean, 2 years after I was thrown out of the army, nothing done, this, and so I now wrote to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wrote, and I passed the letter, you know, through a reliable listen to get across to him, because I didn't want to send it through the open mail. I never wanted this thing to be in the media. So that was, it was signed on the 21st of June 2023. Nothing was done. 6 months later, if you recall, January 2024, last year, that was when the news first broke, this day, and then you invited me to arise, and I came and listened. Then,
I'm afraid my time is up. We didn't have time to talk about the Presidency Institute, yes. BOI, which again you heard it was convened here, like you said, by the NSA, uncovering 295 oil tankers that convert petrol with major oil smugglers identified.